好的，各位观众，现在正在进行的是2025 China GT 第二回合决赛的激烈争夺。Now we're gearing up for the next exhibition of Round 2 final of 2025 China GT Championships. 现在在我身后就将是杆位发车的选手，来自 Climax Racing 车队的周碧煌。You know, starting from the pole position is 周碧煌 from Climax Racing. 接下来我们来看一下他的准备情况。Let's see his preparation. 周碧煌你好，能给我们讲一下你今天比赛的预期吗 ？Could you please tell us your expectation today?
尽量能够守住位置吧，如果不可以的话，就尽量跟上旁边那个 Silver 车的速度吧。
OK， 谢谢你，也希望你能够取得一个好的成绩。Thank you so much. He just said he wants to state his position and trying to take the challenge and to be the best of his efforts today. 他也说希望今天能够去完成自己最大的努力，来尽可能守住自己的位置。好的，那这就是前方的情况，比赛即将开始，让我们把信号交还给解说间。Let's give back to the commentary box.
Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're watching, everybody from around the world, and welcome to a momentous occasion for China GT in 2025. We've had 7 exciting races. Now it's down to just the final race of 2025, and it's going to be quite an interesting spectacle to see how this all plays out, given the qualifying results from yesterday and the wet-dry race that we had yesterday as well, that saw Andy Den take victory by some 10 seconds in the Audi. How this race shapes up is going to be very interesting. The titles have already effectively been sealed because Eric Johansson did go ahead and score enough points yesterday to put the GT3 crown out of reach. And also, likewise, it was pretty much a formality in the GTS class for Moritz Berenberg as well, in the number 927 Maximal W&S Motorsport Porsche. And effectively also, it's the same for this one. Now, this is a fan favourite on the screen because we've got the David Pun and Wang Yibo, number 85 Uno Racing Team Audi. Wang Yibo is doing a bit of research. He's a famous Chinese dancer and actor, but also likes to race motorcycles and now trying his hand in GT racing on top of that too. And good to see we've got another fantastic crowd here showing so much support for the final round of the championship, and it should be an excellent spectacle all the way through. This is the number 88 Origin Motorsport Mercedes with Tang Rubin, with Rubin Tang and Zhong Jiawei. And here we find Lin Yu in the car, which also houses the new champion, Eric Johansson, who will take over in the second stint. But Lin Yu will start this car, did a fine job yesterday to keep that car in 4th position. That was more than enough points to give the car enough of an advantage. Here's another car that could be strong as well, the car number 789, the Gaha Racing BMW, which will have Yusei Chow starting off, and there is Jesse Krohn stood next to the car. Jesse Krohn, a factory BMW driver, enjoying his time here this weekend in China. Put in a good first stint yesterday, but saw him run in 2nd place up until the end, and then another strong effort put him in the mix as well. This is the car that led from pole position and led most of the way. This is the Chengfang Ping and Elias Seppelin car. Elias Seppelin with a great start that put him out in front by a couple of seconds. Chengfang Ping, after the pit stops, had a good lead, but was closed down by Andy Deng in the end. Still picked up an excellent 2nd place, and they were so close to their first victory of the season, it could have been a Ferrari on the top step of the podium. Number 610 Porsche, which has got Dennis Zhang at the wheel. He'll hand over to Cao Qi-Quan at the pit stops. Again, another strong performance for the Porsches as well, getting up there, particularly with the 22 Porsche in there as well, after a good collective performance in qualifying. The 66 Audi, run by 33R Harmony Racing. Zhang Nan at the wheel for the first stint, and it's Yang Haoji will take over for the second part. And this really is going to be a race for bragging rights. This will be a race where everyone's going to be looking for a strong result to end the season. We've already had the calendar come out for 2026, which we'll go through shortly. Now it's Yang Baiji, number 33, 610 Racing Audi R8 as well. He'll hand over to Peter Lee. This is more for the AM drivers, if you like, if you look in that sense. Another car to watch out for that could be a dark horse. Number 18, Parking Park Racing by Z-Speed BMW. This has Zhang Mingyang at the wheel of that car, with Zhang Zhendong taking over in the second stint. And another car to also keep an eye on, Betty Chen, who starts his car, Ugo de Valde, will take over. He was pretty strong in the opening stint too. Betty, of course, an experienced racer, having also done a couple of rounds at least a couple of years ago in British GT. But she's now plying her craft on the number 91 PA standing for Pro-Am. Another car which could also move forwards as well. Number 98 Uno Racing Team car, a teammate to the ever popular 85 machine. This is where we see Chen Ye Chong and Song Yiran take that car forwards. Another of the pink Audis, 915, another 610 racing machine, plenty of cars in the field. This is going to be Yang Zhaowei and hand over that car to Pan Deng. So Pan Deng will be looking to try and make a good performance where possible. But the championship essentially already settled in technically all three classes, because if you look at the standings also for GTC, which is for the kind of cup and challenge and trophy class cars, coming to the weekend, Li Sai-cheng had quite a sizable lead in the number of that car. He picked up 3 victories and 2 second places. There's also DNF, but he had enough points in front, 60 points ahead by the time they came into this round. So really, Li Sai-cheng was unable to be caught. As the engines start to fire, and the mass crowd that's here, mainly for Wang Yibo, is waving plenty of flags and lots of cheering and plenty of screaming all the way through. But it has been an incredible season. Of course, we've had 3 events here now at Shanghai, 1 at the Zhuhai circuit as well. We're now looking forward to what could be a fantastic end to the season. So Scott Woodward's here to guide you through all of the action. We'll go through the grid very shortly to show you who is starting where in which of the machines. We're almost set to get going here behind the Xiaomi safety car. Xiaomi coming on board for this weekend as our safety car, medical car partners. And we're looking forward to how this one plays out. So looking back at qualifying, Jiabi Huang picked up an excellent effort to put the 999 Mercedes on pole position. He was up by a couple of tenths of a second. Andy Deng, yesterday's race winner, was second quickest. Oji Yang in the Team Dixel by Gaha Racing BMW was third of a number 328. And then Lu Wei in the 55 Mercedes puts the car fourth on the grid. And also next to that lap for David Pun, put the number 85 Uno Racing car, which houses Wang Yibo as he'll jump into the second half of the race. He starts with an excellent fifth. As for other front runners, go a little further back in the order. Xiaomi SU7 safety car, ultra safety car, leads the field around onto their formation lap on a dry circuit this time. Yesterday we did have some wet conditions to start. It was a safety car start after 2 laps behind. Thanks to the differing conditions, we had a dry qualifying, but then a damp circuit for racing to get underway. Thankfully it dry as the race went on, and lap times got quicker and quicker. So anyone who might be a bit of a rainmaster might not actually get an advantage here. But look at some of the other cars who are maybe a bit further back than we would expect them to be, given some of their performances in qualifying too. We've got the number 90 BMW starting back in 8th, the 710 Ferrari so the number 90 BMW is back in 8th. In 10th place is where we find the 710 Ferrari. Also a little further back they'd like to be, as you ride on board with Lu Wei. The 55 Mercedes starting from 4th for Origin Motorsports. The car's a bit further back than they would like to be as well. With number 91 PA BMW, the second of the Vista Team AAI machines. Right on board with Andy Deng, car to 37. He starts from the front row of the grid, alongside Jiabi Huang in the Climax Racing 999 Mercedes. Climax Racing took a victory yesterday in the AM class, as we now rifle through the grid. So it's going to be Jiabi Huang and Andy Deng on the front row of the grid alongside each other. Mercedes versus Audi. Second row is where we find Li Hanyu and Oji Yang, who start off in the 328 BMW, Lu Wei in the Mercedes, David Pun in the 85 car with Wang Yibo, and Lu Hangcheng in the Origin Motorsport number 22. And scrolling through there, we see the new champion, Eric Johansson, alongside Lin Yu. He'll get in for the second half of the race. Yusei Chan, Jesse Chrome will start for 9th of the 789 BMW. Chen Fang Ping starting the number 710 Ferrari back in 10th. Scrolling through the rest of the GT order, you can see as well on the grid we have Yang Baiji in the 33 car, followed by Zhang Zhendong in the number 4, the 14th placed Corvette. Jason Gu, I think, is on that car on that side. The rest of the field scrolls through. Our GT3 field, Betty Chen starting 15th. Chen Ye Chong will be in the car in 17th position. And then through the rest of the order, you can see the rest of our run through of Audis and Mercedes and BMWs all the way down. Now, 20th place is where we find our GTC pole sitters, and that being Starting that car will be in the GTS from the GTS and GTC qualifying session. Johnson Huang will start with number 21, BC Racing by 610 Audi R8 LMS Cup car. It's not a GT3, but one of the older Cup cars that used to have the one mix series here. And in GTS, it'll be pole position for the new champion there as well, Moritz Berenberg in the 927 Maximal WNS Porsche. So the cars now forming up 2 by 2. The Xiaomi safety car will pull in, and once again we will find Xiaomi Huang and Andy Deng on the front row of the grid. What a season it's been in China GT. 7 incredible races, 1 more still to go. Mercedes and Audi on the front row of the grid. We're all set to end the season in style. The final race of the season for China GT 2025. Who gets the whole shot down towards turn 1? The red lights are on, and for one last time in Shanghai, we are underway in China GT. Strong start for Xiaomi Huang from pole. Andy Deng tries to go on the outside line out towards turn 1. The marking turn 1, and Deng goes for it. Down the outside line. Audi versus Mercedes side by side. It's Mercedes versus BMW. And there's contact to the back. I think that's the 91 PA car that's gone around. It might well be Betty Chen that's been tagged. One car facing the wrong way. I think it is the 91 PA. Out wide goes the 320 Oji Yang. Blue Waves in the mix in 4th position. Through the first few corners, the snail section, turns 1, 2, 3 and 4, and it's still Xiaomi Huang who leads. Deng in 2nd place. It is now Oji Yang in 3rd still. And up the inside looks Lou Ray's 10th position from the BMW. Up there strongly as well looks like it's David Pun with a good start from P5. So everyone stayed in grid order, but I think the car that went spinning was the 91 PA of Betty Chen. She got tagged by somebody mid-pack, and round she went, I think, as now Andy Deng tries to fight it out around the outside through turns 7 and 8 here at Shanghai International Circuit. A strong start for the first few corners. Deng on his toes here, trying to make a move, but Xiaomi Huang has got this one neatly sorted. So Mercedes, Audi, BMW, Mercedes, that's the top 4. Then already there's a bit of a stack up because David Pun has got the 22 Porsche of Lu Hangcheng right behind him, and down the inside goes Lu Wei for 3rd. Up the inside of the BMW goes the Mercedes, and Lu Wei already not wasting any time. 55 Mercedes up into 3rd place. The 22 Origin Motorsport Porsche is pushing hard to try and pick up 5th place from David Pun. That's the car he'll hand over to Wang Yibo on the pit stops. But out of turn 13, onto the back straight for the first time. And why is the number 2? That is incredibly dangerous. What on earth is going on here? Now, what on earth is going on here? The number 2 Lamborghini has stopped. The course car's on the field as well. The white flag is out. That is absolutely extraordinary. So the field has gone off at green flag at speed. The number 2 Lamborghini red flag is out, rightfully so. But the entire field is charged down towards the hairpin at turn 14. And the course car is out on the field, and so is the number 2 Blackjack Racing Lamborghini. I've never seen that before. That is absolutely extraordinary. But the number 2 Lamborghini has carried on, but that is absolutely extraordinary. And the field were charging down towards the hairpin at full speed, and I thought for a second, are they going to stop? Well, that could have been a whole lot worse. But thankfully, the red flag is out and race has been stopped. Now, obviously, it's not the number 2's fault, because that car had a mechanical issue, but that absolutely staggers me, that one. So the field thankfully managed to spot it in time. There was a huge stack up, and thankfully there was no contact. So whatever the issue was for the number 2 Lamborghini has befallen it. That was on the end of the formation lap. And I didn't see any yellow flags. There was a white flag going, so there were slow cars on the field, but they're on the racing line, and the field is just charging down at full speed. I'm absolutely astonished. Well, number 2 Lamborghini's now crawling back around onto the grid, so whatever the issue was, it feels like it's enough for it to go back around onto the grid rather than into pit lane. So the field, rightfully so, has stopped on the pit straight, and there had been a change for the lead because Andy Deng had taken the lead from Xiaomi Huang. And I think everyone in pit lane is just astonished as I am in terms of what's just taken place. So the field then paused. Now the timer continues, so we have had a couple of minutes, but I guess the procedure is going to be, because the race essentially started, but then we didn't complete 2 laps. Typically in racing, if you don't complete 2 laps, the field goes back to its original order. So this is an incredibly confusing situation. There's the number 2 Lamborghini now smoking. So whatever the issue was, it's obviously overheated or something has gone awry. So that is number 2 Lamborghini, which has had the problem. It's parked up at the rear of the field, but the smoke billowing from the engine cover suggests that, well, obviously not all is well. So the field then is going to be waiting to go. Now, is that fluid that's come from the bottom of the 51? Either that's just something left over from the track, or something's leaking, or something has leaked or come out at the bottom of the 51 incipient racing Audi. That's Xiao Min at the wheel, but is that a problem for that car? What a bizarre start to the race. So the marshal's already down to tending to the back of the number 2 car. A couple of the doors are open. Still quite warm out there in Shanghai, even though we are into September. Race has been suspended. So the current weather at the moment, according to my weather tracker, 27 degrees, 56% humidity according to Google. High of 28. And yeah, the red flag is out. We've still got the timer ticking along, so whether this will eat into the race or length or not remains to be seen. But no wonder some of the drivers are fanning themselves with the driver's door, trying to keep themselves cool. So the number 2 Lamborghini is now, is it going to be pushed off the grid? Because that might well be an issue. What they've also got to try and do here is reform the grid. Now, I presume they're going to restart them based on the original grid spots. If that's the case, it means that Xiaobi Huang is in the mix. So here's what happened at the start then. Let's look back at it. It's a strong start from Xiaobi Huang initially. And he then went around the outside. And we can also try and figure out what happened, what I think, to Betty Chen, because that car was the one that went around mid-pack. Through turn 1 they went, side by side for first and third. Let's look back and watch for a white BMW, number 91. Now, who gets tagged here? And, oh, it was no contact. She did it by herself. So, Betty Chen lost it going into turn 1. I thought there was contact initially. Betty Chen just lost the rear end, trying under-braking for turn 1. Ran went the BMW. The rest of the field goes pouring through. This is down towards turn 6. There was a dive initially there for the 55, so Louvet tried to take 3rd place from the 328 Dixel BMW, and eventually did manage it down towards the braking zone for turn 11, turned in, and the move was done. And even though it was the initial defensive move, even quicker to the inside line, under brakes, and got the move done. So through into 3rd place onto the back straight. And then this extraordinary scene that I've never seen before. So the number 2 Lamborghini had obviously stopped and had an issue. The course car was there with it to try to help it along because it was having an issue, it was crawling along. But then what you see next is extraordinary because the field is coming down the back straight here at full speed. So you look at the replay here, it's crawling along down the back straight with an issue. The course car is there for safety, but it's in the middle of the track. And you'll be able to see the field come through any second now. Now, yes, there's a white flag there. You can see the heat haze coming off the number 2 Lamborghini. And that was obviously what led us to the red flag. The timer still ticks down, so it's 46.5 minutes to go. Now, I think they aren't going to put them to their original grid spots because it's now obviously forcing the rest of the field to be pushed back to their original spots. So we're going to have quite a gap here, I think, to get everyone back into the right positions. Yeah, because you can see that the number 55 Mercedes is being pushed backwards to where it was originally on the grid, which was, if I go back to my notes here, 4th position. Now, this is what happened when they came down towards the airport. Now, bear in mind, these cars are going down at 150 miles an hour. And not only is the Lamborghini on the racing line, but the course car is there, and Andy Deng and the leaders were quick to react to that. And look at the stack up behind. So Zhao Biguang has to move out of the way. Oh, and my goodness, Zheng Fangping was so close to hitting the back of that Lamborghini. Also, one of the Audis was involved in that as well. The white flag is out there, but everyone stacks up down there. And look, you can see in the garage there is utter confusion as to what on earth was going on. So, the timer continues to tick down. Everyone's now being pushed back into their original grid spots. So that's how the race will restart. And you notice there also that the 999 car had to take real avoidance to try and make sure it didn't get out. It took to the grass. And how many cars had to really anchor up and stack up, because it looks to me as if the leaders didn't actually really process what was going on until they got much closer and had to dart out of the way. Andy Deng managed to see it coming and move out of the way to the inside line. So yes, even at the flag he was ahead. He did so because Zhao Biguang just backed off, moved onto the grass, and didn't make contact with anyone. So you can just see the 999 car is being pushed across to the inside line. Andy Deng being moved back to the front row, so they are going to put them back to their original grid places. So we'll kind of run through who is where then, particularly the GTs as they come back through. So that will be Zhao Biguang will start from pole position in the 999 Mercedes once again. Andy Deng will be second in the number 37 Win Here Harmony racing car in the Audi. Only pro driver in the field, and of course Andy Deng had to qualify in both sessions. But what was most impressive is that Zhao Biguang, who's in an AM class car, out-qualified the pro, and he did so by almost a quarter of a second. So an incredible effort from Zhao Biguang, and that's also the reason why, in many cases, that the Climax Racing Mercedes did get the AM win yesterday, because of the efforts of Zhao Biguang. Andy Deng gives a wave to the camera. But that excellent performance put him in the mix there too. Third place for Oji Yang. We'll hand the car over to Li Hanyu at the pit stops. Now, one thing I'll mention is that the timer has still kept on ticking down, and whether or not that's going to be reset, or whether the race will restart with as much time as there is left, that means it will reduce the time for the AMs at the wheel of their cars, and the pros will then jump in at their scheduled time for the pit stop. There's Louvet, who will start from fourth on the grid. I'm sure if you're watching the big screen, the big cheer coming up in a second. Yeah, there it goes. David Pun's number 85 car, which of course is being handed over to Wang Yibo at the pit stop. Anytime he gets a mention, anytime he gets their car, any airtime on the street, on the stream and on the big screen, it prompts a massive cheer from this huge grandstand we have here at Shanghai International Circuit, and no wonder so many fans here to watch him turn out. It's Lu Hangcheng in the number 22 Porsche for Origin Motorsports, with a couple of cartoon and anime characters on there, including, if you're a fan of Pokemon, Jigglypuff. I'll let you work that one out. 7th place for Zhong Jaiwei. And he will hand over that car to, I think, or at least it might well be Ruben Tang, I think, one of the two. It says he qualified in Q2. There's Lin Yu in the number 90 BMW, which also houses the new champion in GT3, Eric Johansson, whose 4th place yesterday was pretty much enough to put the title out of reach. So Eric Johansson, GT3 champion, and also that win would have also put Lin Yu into 2nd place too, ahead of the 55 pair in the Origin Motorsport Mercedes. Yisei Chow, it's car 789, and that car to Jesse Krohn, who put in such an impressive performance yesterday at the start of the race. And here's the long-time race leaders, which was Zheng Fangping and Elias Sepinen. Elias with a good effort to put that car on pole position and for lead for most of the way. Zheng Fangping took over from the pit stops, but then Andy Deng's pace was just too much in the closing stages, and he managed to make it through. Completing the top 10 is the Dennis Zhang number 610 racing Porsche in number 610. And the Porsches, they're getting up there, both in the top 10, so they're looking to try and put a good performance in. Now, the red flag timer has switched to 25 minutes. That's just a reset of where we're going, but I'm fascinated to know what this will do to the race timer. There's the 12th place car, which is 11th place for Denny Zhang, in fact. 12th place for Han Yaoji in the 66-33 R Harmony Racing Audi. I'm just scrolling through the grid to show you who is in which car. 33, Yang Baiji will come next in his 610 Racing, his cream-coloured Audi R8. 13th fastest, 610 Racing with a few cars in the field. Just the Porsche and a couple of Audis. And Yang Baiji looking focused. Thumbs up from him. Next up with the 77 car for Origin Motorsport. That's the Jason Gu car. Or it would have been. Looks like that car possibly isn't taking the start. So instead it's going to be Zhang Mingyang we'll see next in the 18. Parking Park Racing by Z-Speed BMW. Now the one car that gets a bit of redemption in this one too is Betty Chen, because she had that spin all by herself through turn 1. There is the 91 PA car. So she'll get a chance to redeem herself at the second start. Now, they've reset the timer, so it says 52 minutes. So they will get just about near as makes no difference a full restart as Becky Chen converses with Hugo de Walde. So 52 minutes on the timer. There's Chen Ye-chong in number 98. Uno Racing M-Class Audi. That car starting 17th. We're scrolling through the entire grid here so you can see every single one of our runners in the GTs. 915, Pan Deng in the pink 610 racing car, also in the M-Class. And that car looking to try and make some progress from the 9th row of the grid. And that will be alongside the 666. Well, it might not be, in fact, because in fact just next to it as well is our GTC class pole sitter. This is Johnson Huang. He's showing that car with Sean Dong. That's the number 21 Audi R8 LMS Cup car. So it's not a GT3, but it's from the Audi R8 LMS Cup, which doesn't exist anymore, sadly. But when it did, it was quite a high-performance one-make series. There's the 77 Jason Gu's car that's moved back a few spots from where it originally qualified, so it's had some kind of a grid penalty. So Jason Gu jumping in. As we scroll backwards, we're going to be getting shortly towards our GTS and GTC contenders, so we'll look at their results in a moment. And there is our pole sitter and effectively new GTS champion, Moritz Berenberg. Victory yesterday, and he was top of the GTS cars. He'll be looking to try and make the most of moving forwards where he can. He's alongside the second best of the GTC cars in the AM class, which is its AM class pole sitter in GTC. It's Roy Tang who'll start this car, number 99. Zhang Meng takes over in the pit stops. This is the 992 Porsche Cup car, which good to see them back. We missed them at Zhuhai, but the Porsches are back once again. Roy seems happy with life. Ready to go. 977 Han Li Kun and his Porsche, run by RSR GT Racing. That car was carrying some damage yesterday and also pulled up at the end of the race, right at the hairpin before the checkered flag. So hopefully that car's back to full strength after issues it had yesterday. Other Porsche Cup car on the field, the 29 car. That has Gan Erfu at the wheel for this one, with Wang Jihao taking over at the pit stops. The 610 Racing. Second of their Porsche Cup cars in the field. Here's the 777. That's the Audi R8 GT4, which has He Baifeng and Li Jiahao. The 777 car for Incipient Racing. So Incipient running both Audi R8 GT3s and GT4s in this field this weekend. They'll be primarily ready to go. The third of our Porsche Caymans in this striking livery. Car 650. Che Xiaoyi with Archer Wu in the field as well. Incipient Racing also running this car too. So it's not just Audis, they also run a Porsche. And again, genuinely one of the best looking cars on the grid, I think. It's a fantastic livery. But there are some striking liveries across the board anyway. This is the Gaha Racing BMW M4 GT4. Very much akin to the GT3 machine. Number 7 car with Wang Yongji. And that will be Run Ki Huan will take over that car. We've just seen the 777. And a little further back towards the rear, this is our other cameraman running across to grab the final car on the field. That's the 58 car. There is the 777. Just seen them for Incipient Racing, the Audi. And here's the car starting right at the back of the grid. That's the 58 Ruan Kunfan Team KRC BMW. for a strong result going forward. So, of course, the one car we don't have on the grid now, after it stopped, was the number 2 Blackjack racing car. There's the 85 Audi. And cue the cheers. Every single time that car appears on the big screen, it gets a massive cheer. But look, you can see how many people have turned out for Wang Yibo and for this weekend, of course. He's getting a massive amount of support. All the green flags and the cheers and the waves, and the grandstand absolutely packed out. It's not Grand Prix packed out, but it's got so many people here to watch this final round of the season. Incredibly impressive. And China GT and motorsport in Asia, motorsport in China continue to grow with more stature. And Wang Yibo, who does also race motorcycles, but he's applying his craft in race cars now. Did quite well yesterday. Car got a podium in class in the AM category in GT3. As I think the grid siren's gone off. So I think we're getting set to get a restart underway here. So the doors are shut. The grid personnel quickly moving off. And the Xiaomi SU7 Ultra safety car will move them away to get onto the formation lap. Again, everyone back in their original grid positions, because the race was red flagged at the end of lap 1. So the board will go up for the marshal at the head of the field. Once the safety car then pulls off and they get the green flag, we'll be off for another formation lap, because the timer has readjusted itself now to 52 minutes. So we've knocked 3 minutes off the race timer. So now it's another chance for Xiaobi Huang and Andy Deng to get a better start from the front row of the grid. Bit of redemption for any drivers that didn't get the best start from race 1. But in that first start, we did see quite a few drivers holding position. As the green flag flies, Xiaobi Huang gets the signal to lead the cars off. Now the timer is going to start once the green flag flies. So just like yesterday when we had a safety car start under wet conditions, so the race has essentially started again, but the time has ticked on, so it won't actually, it doesn't wait until we get back across the line again in order to keep with the timetable. The field will form up behind the car. There is our safety car once again. Big thanks to Xiaomi for coming on board for this weekend. Xiaomi SU7 Ultra safety car will be once again rushed into duty. The nicest way I can put this, hopefully it's the last time we see this car, because we want to have a clean green flag run all the way to the end of the race. The Shanghai International Circuit, quite a bit of history. Of course, first built back in 2004, but it also held the Chinese Grand Prix. Right on board on this formation lap with Andy Deng. And the circuit itself built in 2004. And if you look at this on the surrounding areas, if you look at how the circuit was and the surrounding areas, and the lack of background, the lack of buildings in the surrounding area when it first started. Now in some 20 years the circuit's existed, the infrastructure around the circuit, the buildings and the atmosphere has really changed. It's developed so much in that time, and it really has become one of not just China's but Asia's premier motorsport venues in the world. The Shanghai International Circuit was shaped like the Chinese Shang symbol. Also a couple of twisty sections, and of course the incredibly long 1.2 kilometre back straight, so the cars really get a chance to stretch their legs and go flat out. And hopefully this time on the opening lap there are no nasty surprises waiting for them at the end of the straight. So the field again behind the Xiaomi safety car. It should only be one safety car lap. Yesterday they had 2 to adapt to the conditions, because having qualified in the dry, they didn't want to start them off immediately in the wet. So they did a safety car start to give them 2 laps to adjust to the wet conditions, to how the grip levels, to how the track feels, to how they get their tyres warmed up appropriately enough. Because on this formation lap as well, of course, weaving side to side, just trying to get some heat and temperature into the tyres and up the temperature and pressure in the brakes, get them all set to go. So the field then should form up behind in 2x2 formation again. Safety car just pulling them around. I'm not sure if they're going to get a second safety car lap or not. If they are, it'll be another run round. And it also means it reduces the time that the AMS, who were starting first in this one, and qualified the cars in Q2, reduces their time. Yes, we are going to get a second lap around, I think. So, not necessarily to adapt to the conditions, but it minutes just to get things going and to get everything ready. So once again, moving around behind the safety car. As the mass crowd, you can see that have packed out the grandstand. It's not totally full, but you can see plenty of people around. If you go to the drone shot, you see also the incredible architecture that was put together. It was so ahead of its time in 2004, but now it just seems to fit. It seems to fit modern day circuit architecture and design. And Shanghai International Circuit, which was designed by Herman Tilke, really was built to the highest standards. It was built on old swampland and made the most of it. Produced quite a circuit, which is certainly enjoyed by plenty in so many different forms of racing, including, of course, the return of the Chinese Grand Prix in previous years. Just a reminder as well, from yesterday, effectively all 3 titles have been sealed up in GT3, GTS and GTC. So Eric Johansson, the results yesterday meant that he was more than enough many points ahead of the 55 pair in the Mercedes, which has been of Liu Wei and Xi Jinping. He came into the weekend 49 points ahead, managed to outscore the Mercedes by more than enough to make sure he was 50 points ahead at that stage. So Eric Johansson unable to be caught at this point at all whatsoever. In the GTS class, it's Maurice Berenberg who is essentially champion there too as well, or champion-elect we can call him. 51 points ahead going forwards. We took another victory yesterday to extend that further. And then in the GTC class, Li Sai-cheng was 60 points ahead anyway. So Li Sai-cheng was going to be caught in that sense in GTC. And Li Sai-cheng, let me show you the entry list, so it looks like he didn't make it start. So, safety car lights are out, and not like a 2x2 formation start that we had for the first attempt. Xiaobi Huan next gets to do it all on his own, and he now controls the pace. He becomes the safety car. He now has to back the pack up. He decides when to restart the race. Of course, once he goes, he can't just stop and start again. Once he decides to get going, puts his foot to the floor, that's it. Restart is on. And really, in fact, the proper start of the race. We had that opening lap, but this is really when things will get going. So the field then stacking up behind the 999 Mercedes, and one car off the road already. It's stacked up. Now, I'm not quite sure what happened there. One car's come to a complete stop. That was the 98 car. The 77 incipient car also off the road too. So more bizarre starts for this race. But anyway, back to green flag conditions. 46 minutes to go on the clock. And the final race of the season for China GT is back on. And now it is Xiaobi Huan. He leads them through turn 1 for the first time with the 999 Mercedes. Second place for Andy Deng. Third place still for the 328 BMW of Oji Yang. And fourth place then for Liu Wei. They turn their way through turns 1, 2, 3 and 4 from the Snell section. And Andy Deng is not hanging around. He's right on the rear wing of the Mercedes on the restart. Up towards turn 5, we go on board with the second place man, Andy Deng, chasing the Mercedes down towards turn 6. He goes defensive in towards the braking zone. A little sneak around the outside, can't quite find the way to get through. Back on the power again, and now through the left-hander 6 and 7. There's a bit of a skirmish going on in the background for the bottom of the top 10 places. A couple of the cars involved, I think, included the 710 Ferrari and the 789 Gaha Racing BMW. Yisei Chow the mix as well. Deng looking back up the inside into turn 10. Turns 9 and 10. No doing. And then Oji Yang in third place holding off Liu Wei. And this time I think that the 55 Mercedes won't have a lineup here to make a move into third, like it did on the opening lap of the first start. Andy Deng already as close as he needs to be. And I'm pretty certain he should even make an attack down the back straight towards the hairpin at turn 14. They slingshot their way out of 11, 12 and the banked section of 13. Firing themselves onto the 1.2 kilometre straight. And Xiaobi Huan might be a sitting duck here because Andy Deng, we know how quick that Audi is. The pace he's got underneath it's going to be more than enough, I think. In the slipstream, down towards turn 14. How close will he get? Xiaobi Huan not defending down towards the braking zone. He looks like he's got enough grunt and go in that Mercedes to hold on to the place. Under brakes, turning through the hairpin, opens out on the exit with the kink of 15. The sprint towards this very fast but quite tight left-hander of 16 to end lap number 1. And thankfully, no dramas at the end of the lap, no unexpected surprises. So, end of the first lap. Top two together as they come across the line. Bi Huang who leads the way. Deng in second place. It's then Ojiang in third. Lu Wei in fourth position. David Pun in the 85 Audi has held on to fifth position. Sixth is the 22 Origin Motorsport Porsche. That's Lu Hangcheng. Then Lin Yu in seventh place of a 90 BMW. Eighth is Chen Fangping in the 710 Climax Racing Ferrari. The start of the pole yesterday in the hands of Elias Sepper. Ninth still is Yusei Chan in the 789 Gaha Racing BMW. And in 10th is the Zhang Wei and Tang Rubin 88 Mercedes for Origin Motorsport. And in the other class, the 21 Audi should still be leading GTC. Yes, it is. But no, it's in the pit lane, in fact. So the BC Racing number 610 car with an issue, and up the inside looks Andy Deng from moving to turn 9. Again, he's threatening to take the move on the inside line for Zhao Huang. This is the battle for the lead early on. And interestingly enough, in his early stages, Zhao Huang is matching Andy Deng here. Even though he's classed as an AM driver, it is an AM entry. So Zhao Huang is giving as good as he gets. And if these two keep on fighting, it will also bring the two cars behind into the mix as well. Because Oji Yang's Team Dixel BMW and Lu Wei will be in there too. Back on board with Andy Deng briefly. He's on the slipstream. But the Mercedes has got plenty of grunt in that V8 to pull away on the straight. See the rest of the field working its way out of turn 13 onto that long 1.2 kilometre straight. Headlights flashing from the 22 Porsche in the background. He's chasing David Pun in the 85 Uno Racing Audi. Working away out of turn 15. And if anything, Andy Deng is not finding the same form that he had yesterday when he was able to close in on Chen Fangping by some 2.5 seconds a lap. And on that first proper flying lap as well, we saw that it was actually Zhao Huang who took the fastest lap of the race, and they're very evenly matched in terms of pace. Both of them did a 2-minute 1.8, but Zhao Huang was fractionally faster than Deng. Which shows these two are going to be very evenly matched, particularly when we get to the pit stops later on. Now, when they do switch over drivers, I'll say this as politely as I can, I'm not quite sure that Wang Zhongwei might have exactly the same pace. He might well do, because he might have a good, strong pace, but we'll have to wait and see if he's got enough about him in the second half of the race to stay where he is. And Andy Deng, of course, will push as hard as he can. He's the only driver, well, he's one of the only drivers in the field that has just one driver. The only other one in there is the 77 of Jason Gu, who's supposed to have Min Heng alongside him for this race, but he's only showing as Jason Gu on the timing screen. And in the categories, Moritz Berenberg leads GTS from Archer Wu and Che Xiao Yi. As back up the inside, looks Andy Deng again. The third time he's had a dart up the inside in towards turn 9. But still the Mercedes holding firm. It's closing up for third place because you've now got Lu Wei putting the pressure on Ojiang. Back through turn 11, 12, 13. Back onto the long back straight once again, and Andy Deng is trying to be as close as he can to get in that slipstream to try and latch onto a toe where he can. Out of turn 13. Now down the back straight again. There's the top 6. There goes Lin Yu in the background, chased by Chen Fangping. Yacey Xiao in 9th place. And then the 4th best of the AM cars, Zhong Jai Wei and Wu Tang in the 88 Mercedes. The leading GTC car is the first of the 2 Porsches, and that's Roy Tang at the wheel, and Gan Erfu in second place. So it is a Porsche 1-2 in GTC. Leaders back down towards turn 1. And they're putting a gap at least to the cars behind, because Ojiang doesn't have the same pace as the top 2. If I look at the lap times last time by, 2 minutes 2.7. So the top 2 are pulling away by at least half a second a lap, because even though it was personal bests on that lap for both the 328 BMW and the 55 Mercedes, they were both half a second slower than the 2 cars out in front. So they've got the ultimate pace, and their best pace, of course, in the 2-minute ones, and they've only just been able to reach that at the beginning of the stint. So leaders back in towards 7 and 8. This time Andy Deng not diving up the inside, change the position here. 6'10 Porsche moving up the inside to pick up a place. That's Dennis Zhang defending from Yang Baiji. Porsche holds onto the place, so he's under a threat from the Audi. But the Porsche again, going defensive, and Baiji tries to squeeze through if he can. It's quite a common passing spot there, you can see, because we saw Andy Deng try and do that a couple of times. They're battling for spots towards the bottom of the top 10. Behind them there is the 18 BMW. That's the parking car racing by ZSpeed car. Zhang Mingyang at the wheel. That's for 13th place behind Yang Haoji in 14th. Running up the top 15 is Betty Chen in that number 91 PA car. So no dramas for her, but she's dropped down to 15th. So she might need a little bit of work here for Betty Chen, for Hugo de Wald to take over and try and move up the order. I'm sure that car's going to be motoring along when the pit stops come around. Still no change between the top two. But Deng is as close as he's ever been. Out of the final corner, down the pit straight they come again. That's now 5 laps complete. And on the last lap, it was a 2-minute 1.9 for the Audi compared to 2:02.0. This is the battle going on for, looks like, 3rd in GTC. And yes, I think it is, because you've now got, there's Rune Kun, it's 4th in GTC in fact, because there goes Rune Kun Fan in the 58 BMW, so that car didn't stay at the back of the field, it's moved up already. The 4th in class is the 977 Porsche of Han Li Kun for RSR GT Racing. And Li Jiahao in the incipient racing 777 Audi R8 GT4. And that battle continues to move on. Even further down the field, there are battles to be watched and battles to be enjoyed. And Andy Deng continues his pursuit of Zhao Bihuan. This is a really impressive stint from Zhao Bihuan. Look back to further back in the field. That's the 610 Porsche who had been defending on the 33 Audi, but is now on the tail of the number 18 BMW. So now Zhang Mingyang now under threat from Dennis Zhang. So BMW against Porsche. This will be for 12th position overall and in GT3 class. Move there. 66 Audi just a few steps back.
现在在我身旁的这位就是张真东。真东你好，我想请问一下，稍后你上场之后，你对自己今天比赛的这样一个预期是什么？
其实因为这是我们第一次用 M4 GT3 Evo 的赛车，那对于我们来说，这场比赛我们主要是收集数据，因为我们今年的重心是在于上赛8小时。然后呢，我们这个新车我们缺一些配件，所以呢，我们在这场比赛之后我们会总结，然后我们会有更多的调教方向。
那其实像刚才这样，就是重新发车的这样一个情况，肯定会对运动员有一些影响。那它具体可能影响在哪些方面呢？
其实主要是对于车手的轮胎控制，因为像轮胎热过以后再冷再热，其实对于车手的一个操控是非常有影响的。那每个车手之间对于轮胎的控制是非常重要的。
好的，谢谢，也祝你稍后比赛顺利。
谢谢。
See from our Chinese colleagues down in pit lane. An update for us as the race continues on. So this is the fight going on for 11th, 12th, 13th and 14th. So the head of this group, you've got the number 33 Audi. So that car's moved up a couple of spots since we last saw it. It has got past both the 610 Porsche and also the number 18 BMW. So that's now Yang Baiji not wasting any time. And his next target is to try and close in the 3-second gap to the 10th place car, which is the 88 Mercedes, with Zhong Jaiwei and Tang Rubin with that car across this weekend. And again, Andy Deng keeping up his pursuit. He likes that tighter run through turn 9, just to put the pressure on, so he's not more confident under brakes and through this twisty section. The Audi pushing hard. It's an admirable run so far for Zhao Bihuan, but again, for the first time in a while, he's going defensive in towards turn 11. He wasn't comfortable on the racing line. He knows that Andy Deng is pushing now, and again, closest as he's ever been through turn 12 and 13, taking that tighter run. He's locked right onto the rear wing. We go on board with Andy Deng, and lifts out of the throttle, and we'll be back in the slipstream. How close will he get? We know how much grunt and go that Mercedes has got in a straight line. The Audi, of course, nimbler in the corners, it seems, with the mid-engine balance. And no change as they thunder down towards the hairpin at turn 14. Big braking stop down here. Very impressive run so far from Zhao Bihuan. As we look back to our scrap here, this is for second in GTS. It's the 650 incipient racing Porsche with Chase Xiaoyi being chased down by Rune Kunfan. And the KRC BMW, and will he make a move down towards turn 6? He's getting close. No move doing just yet. Chrome Porsche with this fantastic multicoloured flamboyant livery on that car. It's a really wonderfully put together livery. Pretty strong. Battle further back. This is Betty Chen, who's defending in the 91 PA BMW from Chen Ye Chong in the 98 Uno Racing Team Audi. This is over 16th position. A slightly tricky place for Hugo de Valde to have to try and pick his way through the order. We know how quick Hugo is. And that second half of the race, we'll see the drivers pushing on in that second stint. When you have the likes getting into the cars of a few other drivers, some of the front runners. There's a replay here. What we're looking at this time. Down towards turn 14. And there was a small twitch at corner exit from Betty Chen, also running wide over the curbs. Was the 98 Audi, so not too much drama. Switch further forward. This is now battle of the 7th on between Lin Yu and the number 90 Team AAI BMW, Chen Fang Ping and the 710 pole-sitting Climax Ferrari from yesterday, and AC Chow in the Gaha Racing 789 BMW. Of course, we're going to get very quick drivers at the wheel once they change over in the pit stops. It'll be Eric Johansson in the number 90 car. It'll be Elias Seppänen in the 710 Ferrari, and Jesse Crone, factory BMW driver, will be in for the 789 Gaha BMW. They get handed over. There's the 22 Porsche. Yuan Cheng still being chased by this group of 3 cars. There's a headlight flash there from AC Chow, trying to distract the 710 Ferrari if he can. Balancing out. Look, just putting him to Fang Ping's mirrors. And the headlight flash. The leader is on the button because he has got number 70 GT S-Class just in front of him. GTR holding its line. Quickly moves out of the way. Then will try and take it before he can. Closes back up to 1 and 2. And now turn through 3 and 4. Initial apex, then 4 again. Once again, really gets it 4 to 5 and back towards 6. That's just another odd way. He might make a dive up the inside again. Especially the Mercedes has got more than enough to hold on. So a small little mistake there from Xiao Bingguang under brakes to try and get it the apex. Mercedes still has more than enough. Great to see the difference between layouts here. The front end long nose Mercedes got a slightly more compact and nimble mid-engined, more agile Audi, on paper at least. You can see the way it turns through the corners and manages to rotate, whereas the Mercedes is a lot more front heavy. So two very different layouts of car. Another battle you can see where that dynamic is also playing out. This number 90 BMW and the 710 Ferrari, two very different cars in terms of shape, in terms of concept, in terms of their layout. Both running V8s. Different characteristics on top of them too. And this is through the traffic here. Andy Deng catching the leader, and he's as close as he's ever been now down the back straight. Sure, this has to be the time he goes for it. Beat Huang down to the inside line to defend. On board with Andy Deng. Which way will he go? Does he go inside or outside? Surely he can't go inside. He darts to the outside line to try and take the braking zone down towards turn 14. They're side by side as they hit the brakes. Turn into the right-hander. Looks for the up and under on the exit. Will put himself level towards turn 15. Now towards 16, side by side, the back markers in the mix as well. Deng looks to go round the outside into turn 16. They're going to go side by side. Runs wide over the curb on the exit, but he's there. He's got grip, he's got the pace, he's got the track position. And after pushing for some, what was it, 20 minutes or so, past the back marker, they are side by side down towards turn 1. Mercedes, Audi, who's going to lift first of all? Into the right-hander we go. And Xiao Bingguang does not want to give it up. He goes round the outside to try and hold on, but he has to capitulate in the end. And Andy Deng takes the lead on the final race of the season in China GT at Shanghai. And that was gutsy stuff through the back markers. He got the great exit out of turn 13. He lined him up all the way down the 1.2 kilometre straight, did the up and under out of 14 and 15, held it firm through the outside of 16, and then took the inside line to hold on through turn 1 and 2. The pit window is now open, so the first couple of pit callers are in. And that change has just happened as well between the the 98 BMW, the Audi, and the 91 PA car. In the pits has also come the 22 Porsche. So in has come the 22 of Origin Motorsport, Lu Hangcheng. Turn that over to Lokai Lu. Also in there's the 710 Ferrari. So that is Cheng Fang Ping jumping out to give the car over to Elias Seppänen. It's also, I think, compensation time for pit stops depending on success. The 18 is also in as well. So in has come the 18 car with Zhang Mingyang. Pit stops are plenty, so as soon as the pit window open, teams taking full advantage of that. Now we get some of the perceptively quote-unquote faster drivers in the field. I say perceptively because of course some teams will have different views on who is the quicker driver in the field, if any. It will be intriguing to see how when we get our pro drivers, some of our quicker drivers in these cars, how that's going to play out. Here is our GTC leader, number 99 610 Porsche. In back, we haven't looked at too much, but I'm sure we'll raise a cheer in the grandstand on the screen. The number 85 Uno Racing Audi, which will also raise a cheer, I'm sure, every time it goes past it. Then wheel, go over to Bo. Moved up to third temporarily. Now gone past a couple of the cars that have pitted from the pit stops. This is now Elias Seppänen versus Eric Johansson, and Seppänen has got back into the BMW. So chain pit stops. The new chance side car that took the pulse today. How is that going to affect? 650 is in Sippy Porsche. That route taking over from Chase. You can see that chrome multicoloured patch on it in much more detail. Seppänen now with track position over Johansson. Also in the background you can see the two cars that have also come out as well, which is the 22 Porsche behind the 789 Gaha Racing BMW. And that battle is now going to be Jesse Krohn versus Lokai Lu position. Once the pit stops will finish, we'll see how they shake out in the end. The 55 Mercedes, I think, has also been in as well. Now that now has Jishin Jie of the Origin Motorsport car, and that car is also as well Jishin Jie set the fastest in the second sector of the race so far. In fact, there's lots of personal bests coming in for several cars now they've had their pro drivers jump in. It's quite a fascinating battle here. And of course, Johansson now doesn't have to worry about the championship. He's more than enough ahead. Just a bit of bragging rights and a bit of fun for him. With 25 minutes to go. Headlights flashing. So more back markers coming up on these leading few cars. There are a few cars that haven't actually made their proper pit stops yet. The gap is now out in front, I should mention. 1.7 seconds between Andy Deng and Zhou Huang. There's the current third place car. David Pun trying to stay out as long as he can, I think. There's, I think, something else that will also raise a cheer. There's Wang Yibo suited up and ready to go. He will then jump in once the time is right. And that car is now second in Pro-Am at the moment. And a couple of cars that also made their pit stops anyway. It's now side by side. It goes Eric Johansson down the outside towards turn 7. But Seppänen hangs up on the inside. There's contact. They touch. Off goes Johansson off onto the runoff area. Seppänen ran him out wide. Johansson won't appreciate that. Very tough battling between the two of them, but the Ferrari just leaning on the BMW through turn 7. I think Johansson might have something to say about that. Back towards turns 10 and 11 and 12. There goes Jesse Krohn past the GTS Porsches and being chased down by Lokai Lu in that 22 Porsche right behind him on his tail. The Origin Motorsport car pushing hard. The pace that car has in the right hands. And Krohn now having to really get his elbows up and push on. This is currently over 14th on the road. Of course, that will change as more pit stops come through throughout the window. Battle going on further back here. That the 2018 BMW that now has the wheels. Zhang Dong being chased down by the 33, isn't it? Yeah, which has Peter Lee at the wheel. Some more pit stop place. Peter Lee, of course, going down the timing history, behind the 18th place overall at the moment. As you mentioned, there are teams that haven't yet made that mandatory stop, including the top 4 cars, in fact. In fact, I can probably scroll through. It's probably down to, I would say, it's actually down to 9th place because the top 8 cars track have not stopped yet. They certainly will do. Time screen, Moritz Berenberg has made his mandatory pit stop in the 927 Porsche in the GTS class. As we now see the 85 Audi still continuing on. Wang Yibo was in the pit lane, you saw there, just patiently waiting. Now Johansson's chasing hard. I don't think he's going to let the tete-a-tete that he had with Elias Sepp and Alapa go lightly. You can see how much he's turning the car tighter and more aggressively. He's pretty fired up, isn't he? And so would you if you had a bit of a wrestling match with Ferrari being shoved out wide. Through turns 12 and 13, Johansson trying to push on. We know this car didn't have ultimate pace to catch the Ferrari yesterday because it was out in front. But if Johansson's got anything about him here, he will continue to push this one for quite a while. He's got 22 minutes to recatch and repass the Ferrari if he can. Down towards the hairpin. There's Jesse Krohn being chased after by Lau Kai Lu. Battle on for is currently 11th place. Battle on for 13th as well. But again, we know there's quite a few cars that haven't made those stops yet. In fact, we've had the 88, the 77, the 66, and the 99. So all the double numbers are all pitted on the same lap. So the 88 Origin Motorsport Mercedes, the 77 Origin Motorsport machine, 66 33 Harmony machine with Yang Haoji, and the 99 Porsche you're seeing on screen here with Roy Tang, who's now jumping out of the car, and that was the GTC leader. And also the race leader was also in 2. Wang Yibo is in pit lane ready to go. As we now wait patiently, and down pit lane comes the 85 Uno Racing Audi. Whilst it's been happening, Ugo de Valde set the new fastest lap of the race, 2 minutes 1.832, so he's motoring along, also lapping quickly, as I anticipated he would be, is Eric Johansson. He's at a 2 minute 1.914. That last lap was a personal best for the number 90 car, and it was half a second quicker than Elias Sepinen in the Ferrari. So I think he's fired up after what happened. There goes the cheers to the grandstand as they know exactly who's getting into this car. Pun jumps out. Excellent job from David Pun to get that car as high as they have in 3rd place. 2nd in Pro-Am before it stopped. He gets Wang Yibo, and they are motoring along here to try and get this pit stop done as quickly as possible. And pretty much all of the top 8 cars that hadn't pitted are now sorted. The cars from 5th down to 8th have now gone ahead and are out of the pits again on their outlaps. But the top 4 are all in together. So Andy Deng in the 37 Audi. So Xiaobi Huang is in from, you can see here, the 999. That's now Wang Zhongwei, who has taken over from him. David Punt handing over, as we know, to Wang Yibo. And then a 610 Porsche getting into the car as well. Back with the battle on track. Eric Johansson, I think he might have it here with Elias Sepp. Let's see what happens this time, because the BMW has been motoring along half a second quicker last lap. Pushing on now. Drivers from Scandinavia. It's pretty fired up to thrash this one out. Meanwhile, side by side, and that is Wong getting past Andy, I think, but he's got out in front of Andy Deng. It's back to where it was before, because now it was a 6-second lead through that cycle of pit stops. The Mercedes got itself out ahead of the Audi, and now Andy Deng is going to do the task all over again with a different driver completely. Right on board with Andy Deng, the view that he sees ahead. Must have got out and thought, oh, not again. I've been spent most of this race staring at the back of the 999 Mercedes. Just made my pit stop, got a bit of clear air. Now it's come back out and it's back in front of me. try and pass it once more. He tries, there's a couple of tricks here. Dipping up and under to turn 9, has a look, but Wang Xiongwei was wise to that. Saw it coming. It's parked it neatly on the apex and said, I was watching that whole first stint on that one, Andy. I'm not that, I'm a little wiser than that. Try again next time. Closes back up under braking. Again, that tighter run to dart to the inside through turn 11. Back through 12 again. You can also see behind them. I'd keep an eye on the cars behind because the 55 car, Ji Jin-jae, who's been in that car for a few laps now, and his tyres are up to temperature also on that too. Is he going to be a factor in this one? Andy Deng then down the back straight for the second time to try and pass the 999 car. Locked in the slipstream down the 1.2 kilometre back straight. Which way does he go? Does he go inside or outside? He peeks out, has a look. Goes inside down towards turn 14. Wang Xiongwei defends. Will he do the up and under as he did last time? He's going to think about it. Pulls himself level again. It's deja vu, isn't it? And they're also going to touch on the exit. They're rubbing panels down towards turn 16. And Deng did go down the outside last time. Doesn't make it happen this time. So looks for the up and under again. And slots in behind once again. In the slipstream. Down the mid brake towards turn 1. Andy Deng again looking for it. And look behind them. Because here comes Ji Jin-jae for third place. Down the outside into turn 1. Has he got the pace and the grip? He tries for it. Wang Xiongwei squeezes him out wide. But it could be inside for turns 3 and 4 if he stays where he is. He might have track position. Can he squeeze him out? He does. And Wang Xiongwei does hold on to the place. And all that battling is only bringing the Mercedes in here. They're not teammates. So this is going to be quite fascinating to see how this one plays out. Down towards turn 6 again. We've got a real scrap on our hands here. There's no championship at stake now. And I think behind them, you've also now got the fight that's going on for what's now become, I think, 6th position. Or 5th position, in fact, because I don't think... Has the 328 stopped? I'm sure it has. But that car now finds itself out in front by 6 seconds, maybe because it hasn't got any compensation time. So that could be interesting. I'll have to look at lap time to see how that plays out. But it's actually now Li Han-yu that's in the 328 Dixel by Gaha Racing BMW, and that car now leads by 6.2 seconds. But I imagine the pace that this lot are setting will be key, although it's going to be neutralised because safety car has been deployed. Now, the reason why, I was looking at my timing screen for a second, if it has come up on screen. Well, that's the reason why. It's a puncture for the 33. Peter Lee's car has stopped on the exit of what looks like turn 4. And it's now beached essentially on the road because with the damaged right rear, you can see how it's sat down because it cannot get going again. So another twist in the tail for the final race of the season. And the fact we've got all the top drivers together, this is going to make it very, very tasty indeed. So, how does this one play out then? Li Han-yu leads the way, but that 6-second advantage, which is probably going to be closed down the cars behind, is going to be complete now. It means that Wang Xiongwei will hold on to the lead in line with Mercedes. Andy Deng is now third in the win here, racing Audi number 33. Fourth in the 55 Origin Motorsport was fifth. Elias Sepulveda in the 710 Ferrari, but he's got a very fired up and slightly irate, shall we say, Eric Johansson. And then we've got Jesse Krohn in 7th place now. Wang Yibo has got the number 85 Audi into 8th after that pit stop. Lo Kai Lu in the 22 Porsche has dropped back a couple of spots. It looks like Wang Yibo slotted in between the battle that was going on between the 789 BMW and the 22 Porsche. And in the top 10, it's Zhang Zhendong in the number 18 Parking Park Racing by Z-Speed BMW. So that's the top 10. In the GTS class, it's still Moritz Berenberg looking for another victory. And it's the 99 610 Racing Porsche of Zhang Meng that leads just ahead of that Berenberg Porsche in the Porsche Cup car. 18th overall and leading in GTC. So less than 15 minutes to go in the season. And could we get a really extraordinary finish to this race? I hope so, because...
好的，各位观众，现在在我身旁就是张真东的搭档张明阳。Ladies and gentlemen, just next to me is the teammate of 张真东, 张明阳. So, make a brief conclusion of your game. 简单总结一下你前半段的比赛好吗？
开局的时候感觉不是很好，掉了2个位置吧。后面借助自己的圈速优势和前方车手的失误超越了2个，也算把位置重新交给了我的队友张志东。
He just said that at the beginning of the game his conditions not that good, so he was surpassed by 2 racers. But after that he just made 2 surpass, and it became the 2nd place and give the car to his player. 那刚才的那一次重新发车，你觉得对你来说影响大吗？ Do you think it is a big influence for you of the restart just happened?
我觉得对我来说，会对我来有一点优势，因为拉近了我跟前车的距离。
He just said that there's a little advantage for him. 那最后一个问题就是你对你的表现怎么说满意吗？ Are you satisfied with your interaction?
因为这是我的第1场 GT3 比赛，所以对我的表现还可以。
He said that he just well done his game and he is satisfied with himself. 好的，那也感谢你的回答，也希望你接下来的比赛越来越顺利。Thank you so much.
It's good to hear from one of our drivers down in pit lane. As the tension now builds with just over 12.5 minutes to go in this final race of the season. You want a dramatic finale? I think we're about to get one, hopefully. Fingers crossed that's not an anticlimax, because the field is now stacked up behind the Xiaomi SU7 Ultra safety car. What did I say at the beginning of the race before it started? I hope it was the last time we saw it in the best possible way, but we get another chance to get out on track and stack the pack up behind each other. So let's just take stock of where we are then. Li Hanyu in the Team Dixel Racing BMW leads the way. Wang Zhongwei in the 999 Climax Racing Mercedes in 2nd place. Andy Dengley, Audi, Win Here Harmony Racing. 4th for 55 Origin Motorsport Mercedes of Xi Jinpei. He was closing in on the top on the battle for 2nd before the safety car came out. It's 5th 710 Climax Racing Ferrari, the car that started on pole yesterday and led most of the way. First in the hands of Elias Seppänen, then in the hands of Chen Fangping. Eric Johansson 6th. BMW now the new champion-elect, essentially, in GT3 class after yesterday's result. 6th for the 789 Gaha Racing BMW Jesse Krohn. Expect him to try and move forwards. Wang is going to send the grandstands into raptures, I'm certain, given the fact that his car is currently in position overall. Lukai Liu is in the number 22 or 9th place. And then Zhang Zhengdong in the Parking Park Racing by Z-Speed BMW rounds out the top 10. Another car to watch out for, also a little further down than it should be, Hugo Duval. This will certainly help him no end. He's going to stack the field up once again, and he gets a chance to try and move through the order in the number 91 PA Fist Team AAI BMW car. That's the 2nd of those team cars alongside the 90 of Eric Johansson. Given how everyone's stacking up and the pace is quickening a little bit, I would suggest potentially we might be going back to green flag conditions again. Everyone weaving from side to side, keeping temperature into those tyres, keeping the pressures up as well. And I would anticipate we might actually see the safety car lights come off, because I think maybe the 33 Audi has been recovered from where it was stationary, beached in many cases. And yes, safety car lights are off. Stand by for a restart. So safety car will move away. And now it's up to Li Hanyu to start to just slow the pace now, to back the pack up, to stack them towards the restart. And he now becomes the safety car. He chooses when to pull the pin. He decides when this race restarts. Once you put your foot down, that's it. There's no going back. There's no constant on or off or starting for a few seconds and then backing off again. Once you go, you go. That's when you have to make a start. So Li Hanyu has to give enough gap to let the safety car come in. Where will he choose to go? So, just under 10 minutes left in the season for China GT 2025. Are we about to get a dramatic finish to this race and to this season? Wait and see with anticipation. Li Hanyu now puts his foot to the floor. He decides to get the race back underway. And he's caught Wang Zhongwei sleeping. Not a good start for the 999 Mercedes, and also not a good one for Andy Deng either. He checked up behind the Mercedes, and now down the pit straight. Here comes Zhai Xinjie for 3rd place. Under green flags again, and it's side by side for 3rd. Li Hanyu in the mix as well, also in the back. You've got 22 Porsche under attack, and here comes Elias Seppänen trying to go up the inside of the 55 Mercedes. They got up the inside and make it stick. He makes contact side to side between the Mercedes. Up the inside goes Johansson. It's a frantic restart. And despite attacking Andy Deng, he's lost out. He's lost out 2 spots, maybe 3, because Jesse Crone's in the mix as well. Watch for the 789 BMW up the inside of Zhe Xinjie. And what could have been a good start. It was kind of started not really fault-wise, but the 999 Mercedes didn't get the restart that I think anyone was anticipating. Deng checked up to try and make a move. He then came under threat for the 55 Mercedes, and everyone else piled in behind. Look at that, Zhe Xinjie elbowing Jesse Crone out of the way, move out of it. And Li Han Yu with a great restart with 8.5 minutes to go. Could this be on here? And again, it's going to be a set 2 once again between Johansson and Seppinen in a minute because they're closing in. Zhe Xinjie tries to recover. Johansson climbing over the rear wing of the Ferraris that come out of turns 9 and 10 and sprinting down towards 11. So Li Han Yu in the BMW leads. Wang Zhongwei in second place. It's then Zhe Xinjie, sorry, Andy Deng in third place trying to push on. But they're all stacking up behind it because you've now got Seppinen and Johansson and Jesse Crone. And also in there too is the 18 BMW, I think, of Zhang Zhendong. Now they're 0.2 kilometres back straight once again on this restart. Look at the pack towards the hairpin at turn 14. Johansson attack charging after Seppinen. Likewise Deng on Wang Zhongwei. Seppinen goes defensive. Johansson will go to the outside line. He has to get the upper under. They will be side by side. Deng goes for second place on the inside. It's the 14. Is there a change for second and for fourth? Up the inside. There's more side to side contact. They're still going at it wheel. Wang Zhongwei on the inside. They've been side by side now for time in this race. These two. And again, squad onto the curbs. Here comes Seppinen. Here comes Johansson. The sprint down towards turn 1. Just over 7 minutes to go. And there's all action behind. Jesse Crone's now side by side with Zhe Xinjie. She's all kicking off down turn 1. In towards it we go. And round the outside. He's got the grip and the confidence. Crap for turns 2 and 3. Then a Seppinen with Johansson to his inside. It's all going off. They're 2 by 2 through 3 and 4. Then goes up the inside, takes second. And he takes the move and Seppinen follows him through. Seppinen tries to follow him through. Wang Zhongwei tries to fight back on the inside line and Seppinen's got it through and so is the Ferrari. The Ferrari's got through, so is Johansson down the outside line. Wang Zhongwei tries to fight back up the inside. They're all going at it behind them in 4 places. Down the inside for turn 6. Zhongwei tries to defend it. Johansson gets squeezed out again. They're side by side on the run towards the left-hander at 7. But the track position will go to Johansson if he holds this position. And he does get through. So a long-time leader, the 999 car, has now been shuffled down to 5th position. Because through went Andy Deng round the outside. And then off the back of that, he opened the door for both Seppinen and Johansson to get through. Such a valiant effort to hold on, but couldn't quite make it happen in the end. Now then, the question's got to be, as it was yesterday, does Andy Deng have the pace to chase after the race leader and catch him to make it 2 overall victories out of 2? And there's still more skirmishes to be had here, because here comes Liu Kao Lu up the inside of Jesse Crone for the 789 BMW. He's trying to pick up 6th position from the Gaha Racing man, and he's got it done on the exit of the right hand at turn 13. Crone will get the toe from the Mercedes in front. He fights back on the exit. And also the 55 Mercedes has gone tumbling back to the bottom of the top 10. He's now back in what's currently 7th or 8th place. He's now defending from the 18 and the 91. So Ugo de Volder pushing on, headlights flashing. Here comes Liu Kao Lu up the inside line. Can he get it stopped for the hairpin? Jesse Crone holds on. Back around the outside, he gets shuffled out wide. Tries to keep his place. Back up the inside he goes again. He's not giving up easy. Crone back up the inside of Liu Kao Lu and holds on to the place. It's all going off once again. Across the line they go. Just over 5 minutes left in this race. And they really are racing like it is for a championship. It's all been settled. This is just for bragging rights now. There goes Wang Zhongwei. 5th position. This is all for 6th. Jesse Crone, Liu Kao Lu, Zhe Xinjie, Ugo de Volder. And also in there too is the 18. Who's in the 18? It is Zhang Zhendong. Magnificent stuff. And here comes Ugo de Volder up the inside. Zhe Xinjie gets elbowed out wide again. Little tap in the tail. The Mercedes and BMW go side by side. Now the sprint towards turn 5. The Mercedes has the inside line, but Ugo de Volder, if he's confident enough, will go diving down the outside. He goes for it. We know the 55 car puts up a defence. They can get shown the edge of the road. And now the threat from Zhang Zhendong behind for 7th place. This is magnificent. 4.5 minutes left in the race. And it's anyone's guess for who can finish where. As everyone is going at it. They know it's the last race of the season. It's an end of term atmosphere. They are leaving it all on the track this afternoon. Gap is now just under a second between Lee Han Yu and Andy Deng, and there it is visibly. He's going after it. Now, Arbo, Seppert and Johansson also showing good pace, because they might close it and make a battle here. Zhe Xinzhe defends from Hugo de Wilde. Yes, number 91 PA. He wants to try and pick up another place if he can. Tighter exit through 13, pulls himself level. But again, the better power on the outside line for the 55 pulls him there. Now it's a drag race again, down the 1.2 kilometre straight. De Wilde on the left, Zhe Xinzhe on the right. And even on the straight line speed, it looks as though it's enough for Hugo de Wilde to get in the mix. Now, I'd say definitely for the front four, that Seppert and Johansson are closing in. Here comes Zhe Xinzhe down the inside line as well. That was a move there for Zhang Zhendong. He now forces his way up the inside line, and unfortunately the 55 Mercedes is being bullied down to the bottom of the line. More side-to-side contact. Not going to give it up an inch. And back around the outside goes the 18. Look at the 610 Porsche. Zhang Zhendong gets elbowed out wide again. Steadfast defence of the 55 Mercedes. And here comes behind them in the 610. Here comes Dennis Zhang looking to try and make a move here to get into the top 10. Back up the inside goes Zhendong. Zhe Xinzhe defends. And Dennis Zhang tries to find an opening here. Break into the top 10. If he passes the Mercedes, that's been shuffled down all the way to the bottom and outside. 2 and 3 quarters, half a second between the leaders. But Seppert and Johansson are also there. It's a second that cover the top 4. Lock up for somebody in front. Who was that? Somebody's locked up it, someone gone wide. It was Andy Deng, in fact. Deng went to turn 6 out second in positions. Now, if he was helped off or not, but there was a lock up from somebody, and Andy Deng is down to set 4th position. There he. So now it's Seppert, who is now the Lee Han Yu to 3rd place. Deng is down to 4th. Now between Wang Zhongwei, Krone and Liu Kaolu, and here you can see once again the 999 car under massive pressure. But is Elias Seppert going to chase half Han Yu here and take the Ferraris through the season if he can finally manage the last race of the season? They were denied yesterday by Andy Deng's pace. Can it happen this time? Jesse Krone up the inside now to try and take 5th position for Wang Zhongwei. It's all happening here in the final restart here. Out of the turn 13, down the back straight. Wang Zhongwei on the right in the Mercedes. Jesse Krone on the left in the BMW. Wheel to wheel down towards turn 14. At over 150 miles an hour. And they're going to start the last lap of the race. Now, is there going to be a last lap change here? Because both Seppert and Johansson are closing in on Lee Han Yu. Or is the 328 BMW going to hold on? Side by side for 5th. Up the inside goes Krone. Also move up the inside there was the 22 Porsche. That's him ahead of Hugo de Wilde, who's now trying to defend the place. Up towards turn 16, on to the last lap of the season. Are we going to get one dramatic twist in the tail here? It's 0.3 of a second between Lee Han Yu and the 328 BMW and the 710 car. As into turn 1 they go, and Seppert is right on the tail of Lee Han Yu through turn 1. Is it going to be a dramatic last lap change here, or does the BMW have enough in the tank, enough in those tyres, enough in the pace to hold on to this one? A little twitch in the tail. He's losing traction. A little oversteer moment out of 3 and 4. And that could be Seppert spelling blood in the water. He senses an opportunity. Down towards 5. Up towards turn 6 again. Seppert goes for it down the inside. Has a look. Forces the Dixel BMW to go defensive. But Seppert pushing hard as he dares. Now the only chance he'll get it really is down towards, I think, possibly the run towards the turn 14 hairpin. But he needs to be a little bit closer to be right underneath him through turns 12 and 13 to make it happen. Wider approach through 7, in towards 8. Johansson's not out of this either. In towards the final few corners now, 9 and 10. And Lee Han Yu is holding on desperately as much as he can. And can he hold on for another half a lap? Or is Seppert going to Climax Racing and the Ferrari their first victory of the season, finally? Down towards 11 and 12. Into 11. Through turns 12 and 13 for the final time. There's more battles there. That's Wang Zhongwei under threat from Hugo de Wilde. But how close is Seppert going to be now down the back straight? And I think Wang Zhongwei might be under threat here from Hugo de Wilde as well. He looks up the inside. We need to look at the leaders, because how close is Seppert going to be down the back straight? On to the final couple of corners for the last time this season. Hugo de Wilde wants 5th position. Here he comes. To the inside line, and now it's side by side for Lee. Down towards the hairpin at turn 14. Seppert gets his nose in front under braking. Side by side for Lee with 2 corners to go. Round the outside goes Seppert. He's gone for it. He's on track position now for turn 15. Inside. He's done it. He's gone for it. Lee Han Yu side by side towards turn 16. Can he fight back on the inside? No, he can't. Brilliant last lap pass to finish the season. It's a fantastic last lap move. Victory to the 7-10 Ferrari. Van Ping and Elias Sepperden. Again, in fact, it's now the last lap of the race. It's 55 minutes plus 1 lap. Cycle himself. So on to the last lap of the race. That sounds stupid. Anyway, up the inside for Johansson. It's him out wide. There's contact with BMWs, but he's gone through. So again, I did that again. Then yeah, anyway. So last lap for the race. I'm stupid. Down to 5 and 6 we go. So Sepperden now got the lead. And it's going to be Sepperden then, who will then move forwards. Will be through the season for the Ferraris. The Hansel will kick behind it side by side for 4th position. Andy Dane might lose out to Jesse Crone in a minute because they go wheel to wheel on the exit of turn 6. Down towards left-hander of 8 and 9. And Sepperden now is going to make a move to try and keep himself in front. Half a lap to go then in this race. And they've chased so long this season, the Ferrari squad in the Climax Racing team. They've come so close. They've had really good pace in qualifying. Andy Deng has lost 4th place to Jesse Crone. So that'll be the BMW into P4. Out of the final couple of corners, they'll come onto that long back straight for the final time. And despite the heroic efforts, the best efforts possible for Lee Han Yu to hold on to that lead position and 2nd place, in the end, he's going to come up short to pick up 3rd place anyway. Down the long back straight for the final time. And Johansson will dart out, but he's going to be way too far behind. The new champion will have to pick up 2nd place, but into the hairpin they'll go for one final time. And it will be a bit of a mistake for Johansson on the last couple of the corners. But after waiting all season and coming close yesterday, it is finally going to be a first victory of the season to round off the year for 2025 in China GT for Chen Fan Ping and Elias Sepperden. They take victory in the final race of the season at Shanghai for China GT. It is 2nd place for Lin Yu and Eric Johansson. And of course, Johansson has already sealed the title anyway. So congratulations to Eric on taking the GT3 honours. And after a valiant defence in the final few minutes after their pit stop, Lee Han Yu does still come through for 3rd place. Lee Han Yu and Oji Yang to pick up the final step on the podium. Ye Chao and Jesse Crone take 4th. Andy Deng, after his mistake, picks up a P5. It's 6th for Ugo de Valde and Betty Chen, so a really good drive through from where they were deep in the field to pick up P6. It's 7th place for the pole sitters and long-time leaders, Zhou Bi Huang and Wang Zhongwei. And also through the order, we can see it is Zhang Zhengdong and Zhang Mingyang in 8th position. Lu Wei and Zhe Jinjie fell to 9th in the end. Then it's Zhang picks up P10 in the Porsche. And Lee Han Yu and Oji Yang do take the Pro-Am victory as well. So to the Am victory. The Pro-Am victory does go to the 710 Ferrari. And in the other classes, we can see behind them, it is the 99 Porsche for 610 Racing. Zhang Meng and Roy Tan pick up 18th place overall and the GTC victory. And in GTS, it is a victory for Ethan Ho. So the 58 Team BMW, Ethan Ho and Kun Fan, beat Moritz Berenberg in the final season, but it's still Berenberg's title in the end. So congratulations to them. I'm certain is a long coming for that victory for the 710 squad. The Climax Racing Ferrari, which is waiting quick this season to pick victory. Elias set down the outside to make the move onto what was the penultimate lap. That was the one forgetting the fact 55 on lap. So if you consider me there, I'll happily admit that. There's the 777 Audi coming across the line to take the finish, and includes what has been quite an entertaining season in China GT this year. It's been quite the journey for everyone. 3 rounds here at Shanghai, and that 1 round we also had last time out at Zhuhai. And the calendar for next year, it starts all over again in April. And you see more cars on the cool-down lap here, including Wang Yibo's 85 Audi. That car came home, for any fans of him, he came home in 14th place. calendar for next year to quickly run through. Here comes our race winners. We'll come to that in a second, because what a moment that's going to be for them. They've waited so long all season. Immediately the door is open. Out jumps Elias Seppänen. There'll be an embrace, I'm certain for sure, with Chen Fan Ping. We'll be thinking, finally, at last, a victory for the 710 Ferrari. Amazing stuff, all the way through from start to finish. And flowers immediately as well. Great job for everyone all round. While staying embraced, we'll run the calendar for next year. So it's in April it starts off, with the first round on the 17th to the 19th of April here at Shanghai. Then it's the next round at May, 22nd to the 24th of May at Zhuhai International Circuit. The Tianjin International Circuit will be at the end of June. Then at the beginning of September is when we find on our second visit to Shanghai International Circuit. And then an overseas round, because outside of China, the final round will be right towards the end of November. It will be Sepang International Circuit in Malaysia. And there's the new champion, 2025 China GT3 champion, Eric Johansson. Now it's all signed, sealed and delivered. And there is very happy Chen Fan Ping and Elias Seppänen taking their first victory of the season at last. And there's lots of celebration there. The Dixel BMW and Team Dixel, even though they couldn't hold on to the victory, still a third place. What a performance from Li Han Yu and Oji Yang, and an AM class victory as well, along with that third place outright. A brilliant piece of performance, a brilliant bit of strategy, and I think they almost overcome with emotion as to how good that was. Incredible stuff from everyone all round. Lots of emotions, lots of smiles, and it has been quite a season. It all comes to a close here with this final race of the season.
Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah. There is a very smiling new champion, Eric Johansson.
Milwaukee bring you power.
Certainly deserving. He's had some fantastic battles throughout the season, some victories, and of course that'll be a title that he will certainly cherish going forward to next year. What a race it was. So what a fantastic conclusion it was to the China GT Championship season. Chen Fan Ping and Elias Seppänen take their first victory of the season, finally after the season. Do it by from Lin Yu, and the new champion in GT3, Eric Johansson. Li Han Yu and Oji Yang did their belt on in the third position, and podium and the AM class victory. AC Chow, Jesse Crone were fourth, headed Andy Deng, who made a mistake race. He picked up P. Betty Chen and Ugo de Valder in P6 from Zhang Zhengdong and Zhang Minyang. Then Lu Wei and Jay down in the order, but managed to pick himself up in the end. Bi Huang, that car led to Song Zhongwei, particularly on the restart as well, was up there in back. Finish Zhang in the 610 Porsche, rounding out the top 10. And it's Pan Deng and Yang in play. Lu Hangcheng and Lu Kaolu dropped to 12th in the end. So they had some issues, really dropped down in the order. Jason Gu's number 13 dropped in the mix as well. The other class winners that we had in the field were number
好的，各位观众，现在在我身旁的两位是来自 Climax Racing Team 的，也就是刚才这场比赛的冠军陈方平和他的搭档 Elias。Ladies and gentlemen, up next to me, Chen Fangping and Elias from the Climax Racing Team, who won the champion of this game. So, first question is, are you satisfied now compared with yesterday? 跟昨天相比，今天是不是更满意了？
非常满意，非常完美的一天。然后，我的队友做得非常棒，非常高兴，非常开心。
What about you? Compared with yesterday, more satisfaction?
Yeah, one step better today, so good day. Was having a small issue in the car, but both of us, Fan Ping and me, did a good job to bring it home. Interesting racing in the end. The last safety car made it very interesting, so really good to be racing here in Shanghai. A lot of fans, as you hear, and yeah, really good time this weekend. P1 and P2 and 2 times class win, so the weekend can't be much better than that.
好，两位其实都表达了，其实跟昨天的亚军相比，今天的这个成绩是令他们非常非常满意的。埃利亚斯尤其强调了，在今天呢，在上海，其实他享受了一个非常非常愉快的周末。And the second question is, what is the key point for you guys to win a champion? 你们觉得赢得这场冠军的最为关键的点在于什么？
我觉得还是我的队友的实力吧，这个是最重要的。然后当然，其实没有每一个点是最重要的，是很多很多点都做对了，然后最终的结果才会满意。然后因为赛车的变化非常多，可能你某一个点上 的失误都会造成最终的结果是不是令人满意的。所以我觉得天时地利人和才拿到了这个结果。
Chen said, luckily, thanks to his teammate, and also that he said that not just one key point, but also that each point is being completed successfully, and which contributes to the final champion. So what about you, the key point?
Yeah, I think our teamwork really good. We're working really hard together as a team. We have 2 cars, 2 different brands, but we're still comparing what can we learn from each other in driving and everything. So I think this weekend we had a really good teamwork. So thanks to the whole team for that.
Elias 也表示，其实整个车队的努力也是毋庸置疑的。他们同样也在整体的这样一个车队的帮助之下，达到了一个很好的成绩。那么再次祝贺你们拿到这一场比赛的冠军 ！Congratulations for your championship! Thank you so much.
It's great to hear from our race winners, Elias Seppänen and Cheng Fan-Ping. As we mentioned, the team has 2 different cars. They have the 999 Climax racing car, which is the Mercedes that was in the mix for a while. And of course, they also have 710 Elias Seppänen and Cheng Fan-Ping Ferrari as well. Those cars had their moments at the front as well, which is good to see. The 999 car had leaving quite a while. I'm sure we'll cross over to our next interview in a moment's time, which might actually well be with our new champion, Eric Johansson. I think we're going to throw down for another interview to see who our robots.
好，现在在我旁边的2位就是刚才比赛的亚军林宇和他的搭档 Eric。Congratulations for winning the second place。那你们觉得可能哪一个细微的点导致了这个自己和冠军可能就差那么一点点 ？So which point may contribute to the lose of the champion? So which point may cause the lose of the champion?
In this race, we lost the race when they cheated in the pit stop. They was clearly too short. They got the penalty, but I had to also push them across the pit exit, so they were slowing down. So this was, I think, a clear violation of the regulations, but I leave that to the race directors later on. In other terms, super proud of the whole AAI team. We finished the season with a podium regardless. Tough fights on track, and incredible season overall.
Eric 其实表示，可能最近开始的一些判罚，可能最近开始一些问题，可能影响到了他们最终整体的表现。但同样还是要感谢自己队友的这样一个默默的付出和帮助。那么再一个问题就是，对今天这个结果还是满意的吗 ？Are you satisfied with your performance today?
Sorry.
Are you satisfied with your performance today?
I mean, the performance today was very good. Car was feeling very good. We did some changes from yesterday, and the car was really nice to drive today. So it really felt like we had the pace and we should have won the race, but regardless, we're on the podium now, and it's what everyone in the team deserves. So.
他说，其实虽然说没有能够拿到冠军，但其实还是比较满意的，因为他们最终还是站上了领奖台。您有什么想说的吗？
我觉得今天比赛还是相对跑得比较好的，包括我们的车辆昨天也更改了一些设定，然后今天性能也非常强劲。那么很可惜，就是刚才 Eric 也说到，在停站的时候，因为对手的停站时间比较少了一点，然后导致出站的时候被翻过去了。那么在赛道上去争夺这个位置，确实是比较激烈、比较困难的，所以有小小的遗憾吧。总体来说还是比较满意的。
Although there is a little bit pity during the parking time, and they need to chase for the final win in a race, but overall they said that it is an acceptable result. So congratulations again for winning the second place. 再次祝贺你们拿到第2名，也祝你们接下来的比赛越来越顺利。Wish you all the best in the further competition. Thank you so much.
谢谢。
So slightly subdued Eric Johansson and Lin Yu there. They could possibly chasing something in the stewards' room, so we'll leave them to do that. But anyway, still a strong end to their season. And of course, Eric had enough points to take the title as well. I think we can possibly head down to another interview in a second with our third place drivers. Let's head down there now.
好的，在我身边这2位就是赢得了这场比赛第3名的欧子阳和林涵宇。Ladies and gentlemen, up next to me are the third place 欧子阳 and 林涵宇。So 第一个问题就是觉得今天自己的发挥怎么样？如何去评价自己今天的发挥？How's your performance today？
我觉得今天第2次重启之后，整体的节奏和配置我觉得还算比较满意吧，防住了吕威 然后跟前面的差距也没有拉得太大，然后能够顺利在交棒之后让我们车上到全场第一的位置，我比较满意。
He said he's quite satisfied with his performance today because he followed the pioneers and then finished the whole game in a safety condition.
首先要表扬一下我们队友排位赛做得非常好，然后这一场有个很好的发车顺位，然后他在第一棒的驾驶非常的快，然后我接过的时候我们的停站也没有失误，出站的时候在非常好的位置，我也尽量在往前赶，虽然说 pace 还不是特别好吧，还有改善空间，但是还算满意。然后可惜有安全车，不然的话我们的位置还能更高。但是作为 AM 组拿到全场领奖台已经是我们全年的目标了。然后没有想到最后一回合可以达成这个目标，我们非常满意。
They're extremely satisfied because they made it to the podium at the final games this year. And he said that thanks to his teammate for giving him a very good start position, and also they didn't make some mistakes at the pit lane, so that they successfully completed the game. Okay, congratulations again for winning the third place. 再次祝贺你们拿到第3名，也希望你们接下来比赛顺利。Wish you all the best in the further competitions. Thank you so much.
So there's our thoughts from our top 3 from that final race of the season. Of course, shortly we'll be going to the podium. We'll have the top 3 overall next as well. I think we're going to go through some of the highlights of this final race of the season. There were plenty to go through, so we'll go through from the start of the race. But from the start of the grid, everyone was lined up to go for this final race of the year. Titles were decided, nothing much to do. So the first start, it was pretty much without a hitch initially. Down towards turn 1 went the sprint towards the front row pair of Calvin Klein and Andy Geng, and they tried to go around the outside to make the move. Side by side for third place, everyone filtered through. The casualty was Becky Chen, she spun on herself going in towards turn 1, trying to check up before the car around her. She went, then just come to the back of the field. So a bit of a reprieve as did everyone, because slightly side by side action in the first few corners, everyone was kept tight, everyone back in the first few positions to try and make the move to this opening lap of the race. Down towards turn 6. Wei looks to make a move for third place on the 328 BMW, little twitch in the tail, and onto the place. Initially got the move for third place completed down towards turn 11. But then as it came towards the back straight, a bizarre situation happened with the other course car, who come to the second, darting up the inside for the 55. Position. Then a bizarre situation with on the refill with number 2 Lamborghini Huracan. That then forced the race to the red flag. The race got back underway and was a safety car. This is including the 77 incipient racing Audi, which all the race the back different checked up. Racing got back underway properly, and the race settled down into its rhythm. With chasing after Bi Hao. And also third place battle here between Liu Wei and 55 of Liu Wei. Round 2. Here down the outside, we saw Andy Geng set up the pass. Down the outside, he went with the move on the 999 Mercedes. Went side by side down the pit straight.
Lin Yu, Eric Johansson.
So onto the podium for third place comes our 328 Racing BMW, which has Yu and OG Yang. Second we have Hansen and Lin Yu. And Chen Fanping and Elias Seppanen goes to the top step of the podium in the 710 Ferrari. That's been a long time coming for that one. Finally that Ferrari up to the top step. And first of all, the third place trophies to be handed out to our duo in the Dixel Racing Gahar BMW. Trophies to take home so they can prepare for next year. Second place for Lin Yu and our brand new champion Eric Johansson. Some more silverware for him to take home. They'll be celebrating that one tonight. And the gold trophies going to our race winners. For the first time this season, wait till the end. There's victory for Elias Seppanen and Chen Fanping. And immediately they are swarmed upon by a massive photographers and camera crew. Everyone gathered together for a group photo. once that's done, I think you know what's coming next, because they'll all be gathered together, and once the photos are all taken, it's about to get a little bit wet up there, because for the final time in 2025 in China GT Championship, it will be time to celebrate a very hard-fought podium placing. So for one final time, the champagne flies here at Shanghai as the 710 squad of Chen Fanping and Eli Seppen celebrate victory in the Ferrari. It's been an incredible season. Champions crowned, incredible racing from start to finish, 8 memorable races, and we do it all over again next year at the end of April. Once again here at Shanghai. We begin where we end it, at the home of Chinese motorsport. What a season it's been. If you've joined us throughout the season, thank you ever so much for doing so. It has been quite exceptional. Myself, Scott Woodward, and everyone else who's been on commentary here, from Leo Gorman, Jake Sands, and everyone else who's been on the microphone as well, from Top Speed for promoting it, all of our production crew, of course, and everyone that's been with us, all the teams and drivers, everyone who's been part of the championship and these live streams. And also for all of you for watching and tuning in and supporting. Thank you very much for supporting the championship. It has been magnificent. If you want to find out more, follow China GT on their social media pages and on their website, which is cgt.top.
好的，女士们、先生们，我们接下来进行的是2025 China GT 中国超级跑车锦标赛第4站上海站第2回正赛 GT3 PA 组别的颁奖仪式。让我们恭喜 GT3 PA 组别季军车组来自 Gaha Racing 789号叶思超 Jesse Con。
Again, another thank you to everyone who's been part of this championship.
让我们恭喜 GT3 PA 亚军车组，再次有请来自 Best Team AN 的90号林宇 Eric Johansson。
I'm certain an even better spectacle next year with so much
GT3 PA 冠军，再次有请710号来自 Climax Racing 的陈
We'll sign off
方
here
平
from Shanghai International Circuit. And for the season, it has been quite a season.
接下来有请
for
上
quite
海市
many
汽车摩托
reasons.
车运
Of
动
course,
协会
congratulations
常务
to
副会长
our
林国平
champions.
先生为获奖车
Originally
手颁
at least
奖
to Li Sai Cheng, who is not here this weekend, but Li Sai Cheng, who picks up the title as he was 60 points ahead in the end in the GTC class. In the GTS class, it's congratulations provisionally at least, or champion-elect, to Moritz Berenberg in the Porsche Cayman. And of course, the GT3 is congratulations to Eric Johansson provisionally after taking the title this weekend in the number 90 BMW. For more at Shanghai from China GT, thank you for watching. Thank you for enjoying the championship this year. We will see you next year in April when we come back to Shanghai to kick off the 5-round championship. Of course, the question will then be who can take the challenge in 2026 and who can become the new champion. But until then, take care, have a fantastic winter, and we'll see you for more next season. Bye for now.
好的，感谢颁奖嘉宾。接下来是 GT3 PA 组别的香槟时刻。我们接下来进行的是2025 China GT 中国超级跑车锦标赛收官战上海站第2回合正赛 GT3 AM 组别的颁奖仪式。让我们恭喜 GT3 AM 季军车组来自610 Racing 的张雅琪。让我们有请 GT3 AM 亚军车组来自 Climax Racing 999号周碧煌、王仲伟。让我们有请 GT3 AM 冠军车组再次有请328号来自 Team Dixia by Gaha Racing 的 林涵宇、欧子阳。接下来，我们再次有请上海市汽车摩托车运动协会常务副会长林国平先生为获奖车手颁奖。好了，接下来我们合影留念。好的，再次恭喜我们的获奖车手，感谢颁奖嘉宾。接下来是香槟时刻。
来一条腿。看镜头，看镜头，看镜头。好。
好的，接下来我们宣布的是2025 China GT 中国超级跑车锦标赛第4站上海站第2回合正赛 GT3 Master 组别的颁奖仪式。让我们恭喜获得 GT3 Master 组别的冠军车组，来自 Incipient Racing 51号肖敏、于彤。让我们有请车仆集团市场战略部部长施世洲先生为获奖车手颁奖。好的，恭喜！接下来是香槟时刻。好的，现在我们进行的是2025 China GT 中国超级跑车锦标赛第4站上海站 GTS 组别的颁奖仪式。让我们邀请 GTS 季军车组，来自 Gaha Racing 的7号王永杰、袁润琪。让我们恭喜 GTS 亚军车组 Car number 927 from Maximo WS Motorsport。Morris， 让我们有请 GTS 冠军车组，来自 Team KRC 车号58号贺正全。 接下来我们有请贝耐利轮胎有限公司赛事部经理潘伟先生为获奖车手颁奖。好，我们邀请潘伟先生和获奖车手合影留念。好的，感谢潘伟先生。接下来是 GTS 组别的香槟时刻。好的，接下来我们进行的是2025 China GT 中国超级跑车锦标赛第4站上海站收官战第2回合正赛 GTS AM 组别的颁奖仪式。让我们邀请 GTS AM G 军车组来自 RSR GT Racing 的977号田委员韩立群。让我们恭喜 GTS AM 亚军车组650号来自 Independent Racing 的吴振龙车少一。GTS AM 冠军车组再次有请927号来自 Maximo WS Motorsport Morris。接下来我们有请 DJ Holdings 社长伊达马萨黑克桑为获奖车手颁奖。好，接下来我们合影留念。好的，再次恭喜 ，Congratulations！ 然后现在是 GTS 组别的香槟时刻。好的，我们接下来进行的是2025 China GT 中国超级跑车锦标赛第4站收官战第2回合正赛 GTC AM 组别的颁奖仪式。让我们有请 GTC AM 亚军车组来自610 Racing 的29号甘尔夫王家浩。让我们恭喜 GTC AM 冠军车组99号来自610 Racing 的张萌、邓天赋。我们有请车仆集团市场战略部部长施世周先生为获奖车手颁奖。 好的，接下来我们 GTC 组别获奖车手和颁奖嘉宾合影留念。好的，恭喜我们 GTC 组别的获奖车手，接下来是你们的香槟时刻。
赛事结束，请各位观众有序离场，感谢。